Abba, we come before you humbly, thanking you, Abba Yah, for another day that you've allowed us to see. Abba Yah, we continue to ask for your forgiveness, asking that you forgive us of our iniquity, our transgressions, that you will create in us a clean heart, Abba Yah, and renew in us a right spirit. Abba Yah, forgive us of our shortcomings, our missing the mark, as we strive towards your righteousness, Abba. Father, we ask that you continue to protect us, that Abba Yah, you forgive our forefathers and our foremothers of their sins and their transgressions. Abba Yah, we ask that the cause of unity continue to be strengthened, that you strengthen the relationships between brothers and sisters. Everyone on this call, Abba Yah, I ask that you continue to provide for them, that you be Elohim unto them as you were unto our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Abba Yah, I bless you and I thank you for the Moreh, for each and every brother in their respective place. We ask that you continue to allow them to be leaders for their households, that you will protect them as they go out and as they come in, Abba Yah, that you will continue to provide for us, that everything that we need, Abba, you will be that for us. Abba Yah, I ask that you bless the mouth of Moreh Baruch, that you continue to pour him your Ruach HaKodesh, that you will lead and guide and instruct him, Abba, that you will continue to give him new and insightful ways to disseminate your truth. We thank you and we bless you, Abba Yah. Blessed are you, Yah. Blessed is your name, Yah. And blessed is he that comes in your name, Abba Yah. In the character of Yahushua HaMashiach, I pray. Hallelujah. Salah wa amen.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, shalom, Akim, shalom, Akim. I'd like to give all honor and esteem to the Most High Yah. I'd like to ask the Most High if He'll bless us all tonight in our discussion. Brothers, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know I don't actually have actually a lesson tonight. It's gonna be kind of like sporadic thoughts that been going through with talking with either Moreh Baruch or the Moreh, the lessons that have already been on the men study, and I just want to kind of build from that point. So the last time that I presented on here has been a while ago, because y'all know I can't be on this night because I work sometimes. So the last time that I presented on here, I'm going back to that thought. And, I went to the book of Devarim, and we went through where Moshe was saying that we should be blessed if we keep these commandments, right? And as a nation, we should be blessed in the city, in the field. And so I asked a question then, like, if he said it then to them, does it still apply now? Like, does that apply to us now? And in that discussion we had, some of us said, yeah, we do believe it applies to us now, that those words are still true to us today, that if we keep these mitzvot, if we keep these commandments, then we should be blessed. So then the other part of my question was, then why aren't we really blessed pretty much as a whole, as a nation? And is there something we're not doing, So that was kind of the theme where I was at that point. So the lesson from last week, all praise be to the Most High, Toda Rabbah for the Ruach that he placed upon Adon Yeremiah. That was a very, very good presentation that he presented last week. And two of the things that stuck out, one of them that was on my mind was already application. And he also highlighted on investment that Moreh Baruch went into about being invested in. Are you investing your time into Yah? And I want to build on a couple of those points tonight as well, application and investment. So I want to first start off, Adon Uziel, if you could read for me. If we could first start off with Mishlei of Proverbs, chapter 1, and start in verse 7 for me, okay?
Mishlei, commonly called Proverbs, chapter 1, starting at verse 1. The Proverbs of Shalomah, the son of Daud.
We got verse 7, 1 and 7.
Oh, 1, 7. Verse 7. The fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Continue.
My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say,
So let's
come with us.
pause it for a second, Adon. So one of the main things I want to highlight is verse 7. The fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge. And sometimes we think that we have knowledge, but it says the fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge. And my thing is today, do y'all think we as a whole has invested and have applied? Have we been invested into the fear of Yah? Have we invested into the fear of Yah? And do we have the application of the fear of Yah? That's a question on the floor. Have we invested into the fear of Yah in our lives and as a whole, as a nation? Is the nation, our brothers and sisters as a nation, have they invested into the fear of Yah? And are we applying the fear of Yah? Does anyone understand my line of question? Do you get the thought where I'm going? Anyway.
I'll say low. Shalom lecha, Moreh.
Shalom, shalom, Adon. Shalom aleichem.
Yeah, I would say, excuse me, talking to Uncle Samak and Uncle Baruch and everybody else. Thank you. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Hi. Shalom, shalom, shalom. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yeah, you know, my tribe over here. I would say low. I was talking to Moreh Baruch about that earlier. My Isha mentioned something. And y'all had put in her ruach, she said, we have to teach our children about the fear of Yah. That was last Shabbat. And that's something that, you know, that was kind of like how we ran Bereshit Learning Center. Most of our leaders run Bereshit Learning Center. I think that, excuse me. I think that something that's, and I think we kind of dealt with it in the council, so to speak. One of the reasons that I would say there's two reasons why we have not necessarily seen the fear of Yah the way we read about our ancestors. The first thing is that we don't hold the leadership in the regard as those whom Yah has plucked out from amongst the people. They are not common man. Two, Elder Shail put something out there. It doesn't say you shall keep the Shabbat set apart. It says remember it, and in remembering it, it becomes set apart. So when I read that, that tells me that there now, let's say if you're my leader, right? There's now is something that I must do as the people that would cause you to be set apart before the people and before the sight of the people. And I think even in doing that, there are some other offices that we might think are not applicable in terms of the divine governmental structure of Yah that we've seen historically. There's some offices that we might think subconsciously are not applicable in this day and time, but they are. And there are people that are walking in those. And again, I think that when you seek to really invoke the Most High Yah, and do those things, I think that it just creates an entirely different mentality towards that. And we're not necessarily in tune with the events of today's time as if these things are plagues, as if these things are things that should cause us to go seek the face of the Most High, put your offering down, you know, so forth and so on. So that's what I would say.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Total Rabbah, Don, Total Rabbah. And you already said a mouthful, and man, hallelujah, because you and your Isha had talked about this last Shabbat, you know, and a lot of what you touched on, like one of the things that I've always been big on is respect for elders, you know, respect for elders. And as Adon Knut was saying, one of the things that the reason why we're not seeing the fear of Yah, and going back to my original question from when I asked a while ago, if it said, blessed shall we be when we keep these commandments, are we really fully doing these things? And part of the fear of Yah is understand he has a structure and it's a way we're supposed to do things. We have a certain puffed upness in our community, but we don't have that actual fear of Yah. We don't have that the accountability. We don't have the respect and the honor that's due one to another. We're not setting each other apart. You know, we're just running and gunning, you know, doing whatever we want to do. And that's out of order. Like Yah is all about order, but the way we do things is like really out of order. So it says the fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Fools despise wisdom and instructions. I'm not trying to call any of that. I'm just saying that the way we've been conducting as a nation, a lot of times we're puffed up thinking we know something, But a lot of times we are sitting around despising instructions. Drop down to verse 8 for me, Adon. Read verse 8 for me again real quick, Oziel.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother.
So my son, hear the instruction of the father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. I have a question. Does wisdom, so it says that fools despise wisdom and instruction, right? Does a person have to know Torah or know their Hebrew to have wisdom? That's a question. Does a person have to know Torah and know that they're awake in Hebrew in order to have wisdom? That's just a question. Anybody? And I ain't looking for right or wrong answers. I'm looking for what anybody have in their heart.
Moreh. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shalom, Adon.
Shalom. And can I visit something real fast?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Back to the original, what you were saying originally, dealing with the fear of Yah. I think that when I read that, I see it a little bit different, right?
Mhm.
Not that it's off, but it says the fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge,
Mhm.
right? So can I switch the words just a little bit?
Yes, sir. Let me hear it. Come on.
Your beginning knowledge is to fear Yah.
Hallelujah.
So if your beginning knowledge is not to fear Yah,
Come on.
then I would say the first part is that the parents have done wrong, because it told us to dedicate or train Hanuk, right?
Mhm.
A child in the way that they should go.
Mhm.
So we wasn't trained in the beginning of our knowledge to fear Yah.
Come on.
So part of it is that we really don't know what fear of Yah looks like.
Hey.
So I would say we have to look at placement. So what I mean by placement is that where is Yah placed, right?
Mhm.
So like, we talked about investment. It's like, what's your most precious investment? Because whatever your most precious investment is, that's what you always kind of looking at. Where your heart at? Where is it at? So for instance, placement, like the 3 Hebrew boys knew not to place that idol above the Most High, because the Most High was at the highest point.
Mhm.
So they knew that there are things that we have to do in Babylon. But
Right.
that is one thing that we cannot do, because the placement of Yah is at the highest shelf on whatever you want to put it at, the highest pinnacle of thought was that it was the Most High. So I would say that was just something that just kind of came to me when you said it, the fear of Yah. It was like the beginning, your first knowledge should be to fear Yah. You see what I'm saying? And then everything else would come from that. So it just kind of stuck out to me as a parent of something that I need to put more emphasis into, and even teaching that and even understanding it more myself as a parent,
Mhm. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Okay.
Hallelujah. And that was a Gadol Tov, Adon. Adon Yeremiah asked, what do we mean when we say fear Yah? So Adon, where I'm looking at is, and I like what Moreh Baruch just stated, that the beginning of our knowledge should be to fear Yah. Like the beginning of your knowledge should be to fear Yah. And I hate that tie worldly stuff in, but sometimes we are visual people, right? So I know everybody done watched vampire movies and stuff like that before. And you have the ancient vampires, they keep themselves hidden away when they do their thing. There's a chain of command, respect, and they're stronger than the newer born vampires, or not the pure born, right? And then you have those that are bitten and they're considered newborns, and then they just wild and out of control. No fear, no respect, just going outside of the rules. And so back to what you're asking, Adon Yermiah, what I mean is the fear, are we invested into it as a whole? And the reason why me and Adon Knukya are saying no that we're not is because for us to have these commandments, for it to say that we should be blessed if we keep them, as a nation, why aren't we still blessed? Why, like as individuals, some of us are doing all right now, all praise be to the Most High. But as a whole, why aren't we why aren't we blessed as a nation? So yes, we know we're under the curses for one, but we come out of that when we actually keep these commandments. We quote commandments, we quote Torah, we chop people down, but the way we live our individual lives a lot of times, there's no fear. We have to not only know the Torah, but we have to actually keep the Torah. We have to be disciplined, and that fear is supposed to keep us from sin. So one of the things that we've been working on as far as like with the marriage codex, there is no fear amongst our people with this fornication, marriage, divorce, and then 2 months later, married again and divorced again. Woman done been 3 or 4 husbands. Where's the fear of Elohim in that? Where's the fear from a brother to say, let me see your bill of divorce? Where's the fear of Elohim in that? We're not invested into the fear. We only invested in wanting to be an Israelite and knowing that I'm supposed to be the Most High's chosen people. But where's the fear of Elohim? So a lot of us want to see a nation, and we want to be a nation, and we want to surpass certain things that requires building a nation. So I want to jump forward for a moment. I'm gonna open the floor again in just a moment, but I want to jump to one of my favorite verses for a moment. Uziel, if you would go to Tehillim 19 for me, and y'all already know this is like my favorite verse. Tehillim 19, Adon Uziel, and 7. So,
Telahim, commonly called Psalms, chapter 19, starting at verse 7. And it reads, the law of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yah is sure.
what does that mean? The Torah or the law of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. What does that mean? And I'm gonna be going back to Mishlei. But see, a lot of times, so what I'm saying is, after coming off of Adon Yirmiyahu's presentation last week, hallelujah, he talked about investment and he talked about application. So now my question is, we have this Torah, but are we invested in the Torah? Are we investing this Torah into our hearts? Because it just said the Torah of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. What does that mean? What does that mean? I know we already went over before. I just want to have a little discussion with y'all tonight, real quick. What is that saying? The Torah of Yah is perfect, converting the nefesh, or converting the soul.
Shalom, Moreh.
Shalom, elder.
You know, this very conversation we're having tonight, I had it earlier with my Isha, pardon me. But first, let me give some honor and respect to of course my Moreh, Samak Tazawar and Moreh Baruch, as a covering to our joint mishpachah, as an honor, being under such leadership and directives, to our movement to obeying the Torah. But I want to get back to what you were saying, Moreh, is a fool, despise correction. And the Torah, is that demanding voice for attention and correction. It's just like a parent, telling out of control child, get right, that's that conviction, that's that salvation. The Torah is that parent, convicting, Yahusha's children, demanding that we get right, that we stay right. And, and after, having a conversation with you a couple of days ago, Moreh, I'm even more convinced that I appreciate, correction. I appreciate, redirection. I appreciate, being convicted, by the stern voice of the Most High telling me, to get right and take control, of my out of control ways, and so that's I believe what the scripture is saying. Hey, sit down, shut up, listen. That's that conviction. I yield. Thank you.
Hallelujah. And from Moreh, Baruch, and myself, Elder, honor to you, sir, as our elder, and we thank you for your will and submission unto us as the shepherds. All praise be to the Most High for your life, Elder, and thanks for your share. Adon Shashamar.
Shalom, all praise the Most High. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when I heard this precept, one thing I just thought about, I was thinking about the Torah as perfect. There's no other set of rules or regulations or laws that is better than the Torah. I was also thinking about when it says making the wise simple, in the KJV version. And I was just thinking about, the way when people come in this walk, they kind of have even people that were raised in it, they still have the ability to understand it. But when people start to read the Torah, they already have their own way of thinking, in a sense. This is how I do things. This is how I live my life. This is my lifestyle. But when they read the Torah, they could see that the Most High says, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt do this. And then it's kind of like they just do it because the Most High says, don't do it. Which is told. However, when they start to read it more, they can see, the deeper meaning of it. For example, we just think about the 10 Commandments, the 10 words. It says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Someone can just say that, I'm not going to do it just because it's the Most High's word says don't do it, which is told. But then let's say a couple of years later, they can say, well, I can see why the Most High said don't do it because, I'm messing up a family. How can you have a community if you don't have any families? Also, I've seen plenty of stories on the news, man shoots man because he's caught with his wife, man runs man over, man stabs man for messing with his wife. So it's also, protecting, that person too, And then if you think about thou shalt not steal, how can you have a community if everyone's stealing? There's no trust. How can you build a strong brotherhood or a strong sisterhood if you can't trust each other because they think, someone's going to steal from them? So, there's a deeper meaning to the precepts, So that's how I see how it converts the soul. And I yield.
Hallelujah. All honesty be to the Most High. Shai, I'm going to say your response didn't answer the question I was asking directly, but it answered everything else that we're going into tonight. Hallelujah, and that's the Ruach movement, because you took that one scripture and you're saying, how can we do this if we have stealing in the community? How can we do this if a person going to kill? So that goes back to, if we don't have the fear of Yah, is where I'm kind of going at tonight, and we don't know how to have that, then we won't even know how to have a community. We can't be a nation again if we don't even have the fear of Yah. If the fear wasn't the first beginning of our knowledge, as Moreh Baruch said, to fear him, to respect him, the Torah of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. As Zakane said, this Torah is put in place for correction. Adon Shashamar did answer when he first started off. He said, people come to this walk saying they do things, this is how I do things my way. The Torah is not a my way thing, it's a Yah's way thing. And so if it's supposed to convert us, at some point we should all have the same mindset with stealing and adultery and certain things. And if we have the fear of Elohim, because we have the instructions and we want to be converted, then that fear will keep us from what? Breaking Torah. See, we know Torah, but there's a lot of Torah breaking that goes on within our community. And so we have to, as Moreh Baruch said, the fear of Yah should be the first beginning of our knowledge, or should be the first knowledge that we have. Is like we should be taught, and as Adon y'all saying, we should be teaching the fear and the honor and the respect of the Most High. A lot of people, we are caught up in knowing that we Israelites, but we don't have respect for the Most High. We don't have respect for his word. We don't have respect for our elders. We don't have respect for one another. We don't have respect for a community or for a nation, right? So how can we have a nation if we don't have the fear of Elohim and we're not converting by keeping the Torah the way that it's written, right? So I'm going back to 1 and 8. It says, my son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law or the Torah of thy mother. The reason why I asked, do you only have to know Torah to have wisdom? So, of course, our parents a lot of times did not know the word as we know it, but they still gave us wisdom and sound counsel when they was raising us up as children. They gave us instructions. Don't do this. Respect your, they had to respect your elders. They knew to honor your father and mother. They, even though they didn't know Torah, they understood that when it's thunder and lightning, you need to sit down and be quiet, God talking. That's just what they knew. They didn't know it the way that we knew it, but they still were given certain instructions, and there was a certain discipline back in their day, and they didn't even know the Torah. And so it says, fools despise instructions. There's instructions that parents have given us, elders have given us, that we are to the point today where we're just actually throwing it out. I want to jump to the book of Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah 6 and 16, Adon, another one of my favorite verses. Adon Uziel, Jeremiah 6 and 16.
Jeremiah, commonly called Jeremiah, chapter 6, starting at verse 16. Thus says Yahweh, stand in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where the good way is, and walk in it. Then you will find rest for your souls.
Hallelujah. 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 Thus saith Yah, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. It's telling us to inquire and to ask for the old paths, right? But what do we do today? We're trying to modernize the Torah a little too much sometimes. We're trying to make the Torah fit 2023 instead of conforming ourselves back to an ancient Hebrew understanding of how would our forefathers fit the Most High. What we have today is we're making things more compliant to our lifestyles, which does not quite require as much fear as it would just to say, you know what, okay, all this is more going on, what appears to be to us, more temptations and things to be right before us, which should just require us to be more disciplined and have more fear. But we find ways to make the word fit us in our generation instead of us actually standing in the way and asking for the paths of old. Where is the good way? The new way is not the good way. It says the old, the olam, the covered way, the old way, the ancient way, right? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said we will not walk therein. So he says the old path, which will be the Torah path, which what the Most High laid down to our forefather Abraham, that way is the way we should be looking to. How did he govern his house? Why was the covenant given to him? Why was he said he was going to be the father of many nations? Why did the Most High bless him like that? Because he feared Elohim and he did everything the Most High commanded him to do, right? So we have to start looking back to the old ways of things and walking in them with that discipline as they did. Going back down to Adon Jeremiah and a statement from Adon Baruch. Abraham was invested. He was invested in the Yah. He brought stocks in the Yah. Yah was his life. And that's who he feared. When other fears came upon him, he still feared the Most High over anything else. The Most High said, go here. I'm a little bit scared to go through this land, but the Most High told me to go this way, so I'm gonna go this way. He didn't try to come up with a new way. He went the way that the Most High told him to do so. So it says we should stand and we should ask for the old paths. And that's what Adon Canuckia started off with. We have lost respect. We have lost giving honor. We've lost setting people apart. Not that we worship any man, because we only worship Yah, and Yah alone is who we worship. But even our Father has set up in Israel a structure. He set up judges, which I'll be going to in just a moment, to try to keep us in line. Adon Baruch, I believe it's in your hand up. I'm gonna give the floor to you, Moreh. Moreh Baruch.
Okay, Shlika, I just wanted to say something. I was trying to get my government name up out there, but glad you brothers now know it, you know. Um, so one thing that was, can you hear me? Samak? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So one thing I wanted to make mention of, and I said, we have no need to try to make the Torah fit anything. You understand? The Torah is spiritual, and it's not it doesn't have a expiration date on it like we do. So it was made in such a way that it'll fit any time, right? So this is Kohelet chapter 3, verse 15. It says, whatever is has already been, and what shall be has been before. But Elohim seeks out what has been pursued. So he's like, whatever has been, whatever shall be has already been. So this time that we even living in, this is just I said there's nothing new under the sun, just expansions of old ideas. Everything we see before us is an expansion of old ideas. You can't think that planes is something new. They got plane UFOs and flying machines on pyramids. You see what I'm saying? It's like, guys. So the reality is going back to Tehillim 19. It says the law of Yah is perfect. Perfect means complete. It's whole. You see what I'm saying? Meaning that it fits every place, every time, every dispensation, every era. It fits, and you don't have to make it look any kind of way, because how you keep it, it's gonna still be appropriate for the time. You see what I'm saying? So that's why in Yirmiyahu it comes back and tells you to seek what? The old path. Because it's the same. Whatever will be has already been. So it's like if you do the path that was given, it's gonna fit into today. The people don't fit, but Yah's law is always appropriate. It's always on time. Because when is righteousness dated? Think about it. Does righteousness have an expiration date? It doesn't. It's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Toda.
Torah, dog. Like you said, righteousness and Torah has no expiration date. We do. I like that, dog. I like that. Hallelujah. Adon Yermiah. Yes, sir.
Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High. Torah again on Moreh Samak so far for your lesson and for everyone who has put forth their input. I just want to kind of just elaborate a little more, just to build upon what you're referring to, a few of the precepts that you have already touched on. One thing I want to mention as well as we spoke about the old way, and as well as don't forsake the teaching of your father and your mother, and looking back to those who laid the foundation. And to your point, Moreh Shamak, as you mentioned, to Abraham being invested, the scriptures back that information up with the time before Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, and the Malachim came to speak to Abraham to let him know. But they said something very profound, and I pray that we all will take this in our lives as men, as fathers, as guardians, as leaders of our own households, and even some of our leaders of our respective communities. He said, should I reveal to Abraham the thing that I'm going to do, knowing that he will what? That he will train or command his children to follow the ways of Yah. So it gives us a greater advantage once we invest in Yah, that certain things will be revealed unto us, especially when destruction is about to hit a certain place, so we can properly prepare ourselves, prepare our household. So it gives us that additional advantage that we need. And it goes back to us having that true fear of the Most High. And one other thing I want to hit on, I experienced today, I thought it was so profound, but very, very small at the same time. But I think you have to have wisdom to see it. You also mentioned, does someone have to know the Torah or the Most High to basically know righteousness? I'm paraphrasing a little bit. But I was here at the vote out today, and I was about to go out for lunch. And one of my coworkers said, hey, it's raining outside. And I was telling him right before I leave, he said, before you go, here you go, take my umbrella so you don't get wet. I'm like, whoa. And to me, it's those nuggets of the Torah for somebody who doesn't know the Most High, but just to have compassion, to be considerate, to think about others, right? And was willing to give me what was his to make sure that I was good. The only thing I thought about as well when I was walking back in the rain using his umbrella, like, wow, how the Most High told Abraham once again, I will bless those that bless thee and curse those that curse you. So I just pray that we will just remember these small principles as we go through life, because all of that encompasses the fear of Yahuwah. All of that entails us going back to that natural path. So Torah Rabbah, once again, and I yield.
Toda Rabbah for sharing, Adon. Toda for the inspiration that you gave me from your lesson last week. All praise, honor. We continue to build on. We continue to build. Praise Abba. Praise Abba. Moreh Baruch, I seen your hand up again, I believe.
That was on Axinaki, Toda.
Okay. All right. So the brothers have already touched on something else, so we're about to transition real quick. So I know a lot of times we're looking at the nation, right? And so again, my thing is, if we're not being converted to the Torah, if we're not having that fear of Elohim, the fear of Yah, if we're not starting to actually obey this word and like really walk it out, like truly discipline, you know, as our forefathers did, how are we gonna really reestablish a nation? So the next thing I want to go to is like application. And before I go to the application, so I just want to ask, and I'm asking for a few answers. What is Torah? What is the Torah? Someone help me out real quick. What is the Torah to anyone? Short answers, short answers. Yes, so Shashmar.
The short answer would be it's the first 5 books of what we know as the Bible. And it's, I would say the Most High's word, and it's instructions on life, how to live life.
Okay, hallelujah. The first 5 books, instructions on how to live life, the instructions of the Most High. Is the Torah anything else? Anything else?
A fence and a safeguard.
A fence and a safeguard. Adon Uziel.
A foundation.
A foundation. A fence and a safeguard, a foundation. So it's the instructions, and those instructions are a fence, a safeguard, a foundation. What else is found in the Torah? Because it's going to back up what Adon Kanukya and Adon Uziel said. It's a foundation. But what else is in it? You know, it's outside of just instructions. What else is written therein? Yirmiyahu just gave us, Adon just gave us an example with the scripture he read. He read something about Abraham, right? So what was that? That was a historical recording of something that took place in Abraham's life, which is a part of that foundation, which is a part of that fence that Adon Kanukya is talking about, because you could actually see people who are applying, who had the application of Torah, who had the fear of Yah written in the Torah. So there's instructions written in there, but there's also the historical recordings and the examples for us to build upon, right? So my question to you is, how do we build a nation? Where did the nation first start? And I'm just going to focus on Israel. So let's go to Shemot chapter 1. Shemot chapter 1, Adon Uziel, 1 and 1. And I'm gonna tell y'all again, the commandment says thou shalt not steal, and I don't. But brothers, one of the things that I tell people is, when you spend a lot of time with someone and when you start building relationships, you can either start taking on each other's good and as well as negative characteristics. We need to be trying to focus on making sure we're putting out good, so that whatever we're putting out, the good characteristics is taken on with each other. So what I'm saying is I don't steal, but what you will hear is I use everything that my brothers have already shared. So where I'm about to take a play from Ezra the Scribe and Shepherd Eob's playbook. So let's go to Shemot chapter 1 and start with 1, Adon Uziel.
Shemot, commonly called Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, now these are the names of the children of Israel who came to Mitzrayim. Each man and his household came with Yaakov, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda, Yissachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all those who were descendants of Yaakov were 70 persons, for Yosef was in Mitzrayim already. And Joseph died, and all his brothers, and all that generation. But the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and grew exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with
Start right
them.
there. Start right there, Don. So where does a nation start? Where does a nation start, Mr. Bakar? Akin? Because see, sometimes we're looking at building a nation. Well, where did the nation start? Now, these are the names of the children of Israel. Who are the children of Israel? The children of Israel are the nation of Israel. It goes into naming the names, and it says, now these are the names of the children of Israel which came out of Egypt. Every man and his household came with Yaakov, their Abba. The nation started with a father and his sons, his offspring. But before it was this large nation, it was a mishpachah. It was a family. Family first. Sometimes we look at the broad and like, we're not coming together as a nation. We can't come together because we ain't even a family yet. We're not even a family yet. We don't know to follow the instructions of a father yet. That tells you to respect your big brother who's the authority of the house. As soon as the father or the mother leave the house, you got to back talk to big brother. I ain't gonna listen to what you say, and you want to fight it. We don't even know how to yield to submit to the instructions. We don't even know how to be a family. We have to train up our children in the way they should go. When they get old, they do not depart from it. But we have to be trained up as a mishpachah first. That's one reason why we started this men's call. And I want to give double honor to Sar Yohanan. Yes, I started this call, but Sar Yohanan has faithfully reached out to brothers and keep it going even on the nights when I can't even be on. Sar Yohanan sends out all the group studies in every group platform that we have. He's going to make sure he try to find someone. If I can't make it, Moreh Baruch can't make it, Yirmiah can't make it, whoever can, he's always trying to find someone to fill in to make sure this platform continues to run diligently, and he be on and he has it up and running. This is proof of who he is in our mishpachah. See, a family is proving ground. So when you go to the book of Devarim, when it's talking about how Moshe appointed able men and men of renown, men that were known, we got to first be able to know each other. I started this study to try to build relationships, try to build brotherhood, and try to build love first, because we can build brotherhood and a love for each other. The fact that me and Yirmiah studied together, we fellowship together, he done read for me at an event before, the first time I met him in person, and we did Yah's work together, halal Yah, and he's on the platform teaching, halal Yah, and even though I can't be on live, I look back at the recordings, I'm building with my ox. I see my ox, Ruach. Do we agree on everything? No. But I bet you we can disagree peaceably. I bet you we can disagree, and at some point, Yah's gonna have us agree on that in which we disagree in Yah's time. But in that which we may have a difference, the fact that we have the love of the brotherhood being built is not gonna be an argument. I'm not gonna feel like, oh, he's just trying to come at me because we believe this differently. We're building a family first, because Israel was a family first. And then when you look at how they were dispersed in tribes. They didn't all always dwell together in the same campsites. They had their portion. So the reason why I asked, what else is Torah? As Adon Uziel said, it's a foundation. It's a historical recording to let you see how Israel, the nation, came to be from one man, Yaakov, whose name was switched to Israel, who followed the instructions of his grandfather, Abraham, to the T. Right? So it says, every man his what though? His household. Now I'm taking a page out of Adon, Shepherd Eob, and Ezra the Scribe playbook. They say you build a Knesset, a family at a time. The Knesset should first start off being made up of your family. So if the Knesset should first start off being made up of your family, who should a nation first be made up of? Knessets that are families that have been established, that have gone through the process of teachings and trainings and learning to convert Their soul by Torah, returning to the paths of old in my house. So that when me and my household comes along with Adon Baruch and his household and Adon Canuk and his household, we're going to start expanding. That's when a nation starts to grow. But it still starts in your house. And them and their household was 70. So it wasn't a large number, but then that family did what? They multiplied and became the nation of Israel, right? But I still want us to not lose sight of the vision. Yes, we need to be trying to focus on nation building. But in building anything, you have to start with a foundation, and not a weak foundation, a strong foundation. Going back to what Shashamar said, how can we build a nation with thieves and robbers and rapists in the midst? Rebellion in the midst. Lacking the fear of Yah. If the fear of Yah is not in the midst, why was Israel scattered to begin with? We're trying to build upon the rebellion. We're trying to build upon the wickedness, and we're not building upon the righteousness that does not expire, as Moreh Baruch said. We're not building upon the application of obedience, fully vested. So we have to first start with renewing our minds, and it says the Torah converts the soul. We have to first start teaching ourselves, our children, our Yaladim, and families start coming together to make up a nation. We have to learn how to be mishpachah, or family first, to build a nation. Because I'm going to show you what that does. Let's now do the book of Judges, chapter 1. The book of Judges, chapter 1. Adon Uziel, if you could, and start at 1.
Shofar team, commonly called Judges, chapter 1, starting at verse 1. Now, after the death of Yahusha, it came to pass, the children of Israel asked Yah, saying, who shall be the first to go up for us against the Canaanites, to fight against them? And Yah said, Yehuda shall go up. Indeed, I have delivered the land into his hand. So Yehuda said to Shimon, his brother, come up with me to my allotted territory, that we may fight against the Canaanites. And I will likewise go with you to your allotted territory. And Shimon went with him.
So stop there for a second. What does anybody see there? Y'all know I have some weird tie-ins, but I'll be seeing what's not written when I read. What do y'all see out of those few verses that he did, but that he just read? What are you seeing?
I'm gonna help you take care of your land, and you help me take care of mine.
Okay, I'm gonna help you take care of your land. You help me take care of mine. Hallelujah. Anybody else? All right. Toda, don't. Okay, Shashma, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll take a shot. I basically see, Joshua Yahusha, he passed, and someone basically had to take his place in a sense. So I see that as, although, the people we read in scriptures are no longer here, there should be people in this generation, that should be able to do not exactly what they did, but still, perform their righteous acts and, do the service of the Most High. I yield.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Adon Yermiah.
King told everybody. I also see that someone was appointed to lead the way. We spoke about the leaders earlier today, having respect for our leaders, and when someone is anointed or plucked out the fire, that we have to follow the selective process of the Most High and follow suit.
Hallelujah. So it goes right back to what Adon Y'all started off with his opening response when he first opened up, and Adon Yermiah tied it right back in together, as well as Shah Shamar was saying how you see there was still someone was appointed. There was still someone was set aside, appointed for a task of leadership. But then the other part that we look at, it says, Yah said unto Yehuda, you should go up, behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Yehuda said unto Shimeon, his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites, and I likewise will go with you into thy lot. So Shimeon went up with him. So it ain't just, I'm just going to take care, like Uziel said, a lot of times we look at stuff as like, it's easy where I'm going to help you move some furniture. I'm going to help you cut a few trees. Now I'm going to help you get the bodies up out of there. I'm coming to fight with you. I'm coming to remove the enemy out your territory. I'm coming to help you establish that. You don't have to do this by yourself. You my brother, family. And a nation needs territory. Nation needs land. But sometimes everybody will not be able to dwell at the same piece of land. But we need to have lands, plural, and I don't even know if that's the proper way of saying it. We need to have land, multiple pieces of land, right? But the mindset that we have today, I got to get mine, you got to get yours, so we don't want to support and help each other. That's the way we've been conditioned. But the ancient Torah mindset, if we convert back to this, and as Adon Yeremiah said in one of his statements on the call tonight, as well as what he said about when he went out the country to North America, about the seeing how some people are living, and if we could just like invest or help or aid or have some compassion towards those that are less likely to have, that's the mindset we have to return to also, being willing to help our brothers. Like he said, that when he was going to the store or going to get lunch, the man said, man, take my umbrella, man, I don't want you to get wet. But we the Hebrews, we're supposed to be more set apart than anyone. So here, what we seen was in this nation that's now a nation, they've now had some land, the Most High has appointed them lots, but still when going to get their lot, Yehuda said, man, come help me with this. Come go with me, and when you help me with mine, once we finish this task, whenever you're ready to go to yours, I'm going with you to yours. That's the mindset we have to have. The reason why sometimes we don't want to support someone where they are, I ain't never going to New York. I don't live in New York. I don't live in South Carolina. I don't live in VA. I don't live in North Carolina. What's that going to do for me? Torah mindset shows again the history of how the nation was building. And though sometimes everyone may not be in the same place, if we're needed, we need to help each other get their land. Move the giants out the land. Who's that up? Adon Kanuki, I yield to you, sir.
Okay, shalom. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's powerful what you say, Moreh. And I was gonna say, it actually made me think, or y'all gave me this thought while you were speaking, is that, we have all of these different conversations, about prophecy and y'all picking us up on eagle's wings and flying us up out of here, sky cracking and all of that, right? But we never ever have anything tangible that we can point to and direct and say, that's what we're going to build. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. So Moedim after Moedim, year after year, this is what we are building and working toward. It's always something figurative. And, by nature of who Yah is and by what his name means, that which causes to exist. If what we are speaking is nothing tangible, it's nothing that is productive, it's nothing that is progressive from where we were, as Moreh Baruch talked about a couple lessons ago, about breaking out of the circle, then we will always have what we have always gotten. You understand? And so, that's one of the questions that I pose to myself and also out to the nation, is that what are we being called to build in this time? It got, you know what I'm saying? What are we being called to build in this time? So I yield with that.
Hallelujah. Toda Adon. And like you said, what are we being called to build? How do we build it? What does it look like? First of all, it has to start with family, right? And you have to know who's amongst you and among you. Just like until Jeremiah taught his lesson, I didn't know he was into banking. And he broke that thing down well to us he broke that thing down last week. And so now if we have to do some things, we have someone amongst us we should at least talk to about finances, to tell us the proper way or a better way of doing things. But if we don't build as a family first, to even know we have amongst us who's able to do certain things and capable, and also, as it says, Moses appointed men that were renowned, we have to know who is who. What's your credibility? What's your Torah brotherhood credit score? What do I mean by that? What love do you show to your Isha and your Yaladim first and foremost? What respect do you show towards your elders? What helps do you do in your community, for your community? Because if you avoid of all that, you don't have respect for elders, you don't have respect for leadership, then how are you going to respect any project or anything that we're trying to do? If your word is never any good amongst your brothers, then what's your Torah credit score going to look like? Are you going to be able to say like Judah, hey, Azariah, come on over here and help me, and I got you, and Azariah, the last 2 times you said that, Aki, you ain't never show up. You always sick. Every time it's time to come help me. The first time it's understood because you could have been sick. Or I actually did see you and you was sick. But the other 2 times, man, so-and-so, they said you was okay. Why you come help me out? See, we gotta, what does our Torah brotherhood credit score look like? So we need to know these things. And so, yes, there's a lot of people that want to move forward and want to invest, but investors want to know what they're investing in. I'm going back to Adon Baruch and Adon Yermiah now. Are you invested in Yah? Because if you're not even invested in Yah and you haven't started your investment on the fear of Yah, then I know you ain't gonna have no respect for me. So how can I invest into anything? How can I come help you get yours and think that you really gonna help me come get mine after you get established? That's why family first is key. You build a family at a time. You build strong relationships and strong bonds. You get to know one another. You prove yourselves to one another. People can see that you invested into Yah. You invested into your family. You invested into your Yaladim. You invested into your community, into your Knesset. So now when we do Knesset, joint things, Knesset together, trying to now be a nationwide thing, we know what the investment gonna look like, and we know what the return, as Adon was saying, what the return gonna look like. And we can also keep being like Adon y'all was saying, waiting for the sky to crack and being that faith without works type mindset of just believing, hey, as long as we believe and have faith in this thing, it's gonna work. Nah, you gotta have some wisdom to go along with this to make sure it's gonna work too. There's some things you need to know to make sure it's gonna work. You need to know who's who. That's why you have to start here first. And then you have to be careful with who you allow to come into the family, to bring the family down. You can have some good forward momentum with a few people, and then you can bring a whole bunch of negativity around and halt the whole work that you've already been putting in. Another topic for another time, but I just want to go ahead and show this. Now I want to show something else, going back to Shepherd Eob and Ezra the Scribe. Ezra the Scribe says something down to Sukkot, and that thing still been sticking with me real heavy. And one thing that he said was, a lot of times we sit and we complain about, oh man, they done messed it up. And then we just over and over, and as Adon said, we keep with all this fricative talk, over and over, we can talk about stuff, but when are we gonna produce something tangible, right? So Ezra said, so they messed it up, and you see they messed it up, and then okay, they messed it up. Now all we ever say is, they done messed it up. And we just what? We just gonna leave it messed up? He said, instead of just saying, they messed it up, realize that they messed it up, and then say, what you gonna do? You gotta do something. So yes, we understand that our nation has messed up a lot. We've messed up. We under the curses, we're in the captivity, yes. But it also, as Moreh Baruch was focusing on, there's things we're told to do, even in the lands where we scattered. Build you this, do you that. And Yah said he'd be with us if we keep in his commandments, though. So the other point that I want to go to is, so we need to be doing something. So part of it is renewing our mind to understand that if your brother got to fight up here, go help him with whatever obstacle is in the way with his project. Try to help him with his project. And we got to be men of honor and say, and what you're working on, Adon, and I help you with yours after you help me with mine. Or whichever way, we can help each other simultaneously. I'm gonna be working on mine today, and I'll come up there on my next day off and help you on yours, whatever that may be. Or right now, this is the common goal for all of us right now. We're working on this, and then what's the next thing? And whatever the next thing is, we work towards that. But we need to start accomplishing something and use the historical recordings and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and instructions that's already written and presented for us. Drop it down a little bit. I want to drop right down to verse 12. I'm going to skip a lot of it. I want to jump right to verse 12 because I want to show something else about family. Drop down to verse 12, Adon.
Verse 12. Then Caleb said, whoever attacks Kiriath Sefer and takes it, to him I will give my daughter Aksah as wife.
Pause. So what we see about to take place here? Is anything jumping out about nation building here in this verse here? Caleb said, he that smiteth Kiriath Sefer and taketh it, to him will I give Aksah, my daughter, to wife. Adon Azari, who put in the messenger, joining a family. Yes, sir, Adon Shashamar.
Ken, I was gonna say, building a family as well, give his daughter. Well, I was also just thinking about the idea of, he wants the best person. So he's saying whoever, does this, whoever does this great task, will get my daughter, because he wants the best. He doesn't just want anyone.
He wants the best. So he didn't just do it by faith, right? He didn't just say, I'm just gonna believe that y'all just gonna send my daughter a good husband, or I'm just gonna pick a good man for her at some point. He did something where he can count his return. Like, I'm gonna put a task or feet out here, and whoever's invested in this, they're telling me they're gonna be invested in my daughter. They're gonna care for my daughter. They're gonna love my daughter. Cause they're gonna go out there and get this, they're gonna get this task done. They went and got this task done for the fact they want to be joined to me and my house. They want to have my box. There was an honor there. So he says, I will give you my daughter. Now continue to read. I want to show y'all something else in this.
Pardon me, Moreh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Zachary.
He also wanted someone of character.
Someone of character. Hallelujah. Someone of character. Todah, Zachary. Todah. Continue to read it, don't Uziel.
Verse 13. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. So he gave him his daughter Aksah as wife. Now it happened when she came to him that she urged him to ask her father for a field. And she dismounted from her donkey. And Caleb said to her, what do you wish? So she said to him, give me a blessing. Since you have given me land in the south, give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. Now the children of...
So stop here. So what do we see take place here? Is anything jumping out to y'all with this nation builder, this family being joined together? What did y'all just get from that portion there? Hallelujah. You hear me? Y'all put in a group message. So Caleb owned land and possessions. So he already had land, possessions, and assets. Is what you hear me? Y'all put in a group message. Anyone else? And I'm about to take a page from Moreh Baruch's playbook. Moreh Baruch's wisdom. Yes, sir, Don Shashamar.
Okay, what I see is, now that she's now that she has a ish, she sees, okay, I need something for us now. She was with her father. Now she's, I'm with my ish. I need something that's for us. What could help us out? What could help us build our family?
Okay, so Shashamar says, so now that she has a ish, she's wanting to know what can help me and my family out. And Isaiah put in establishment. A new family is being established. Hallelujah. So a new family is being established. And as a new family is being established, husband and wife, there'll be more offspring to produce more children. And the very first commandment of all would be fruitful and multiply. We've seen in Shemot chapter 1, it was 70. And then it said that Israel multiplied. So how do we multiply? We're supposed to multiply righteous seed. So now, as Isaiah said, so now it's establishment. It's another family being established. As Shashamar said, she's now looking for things for her house because now she has her own family, her own house that she's going to go to. But anything else in that? So that's right on what Shashamar said. and what Isaiah said, or Don Isaiah said, but it's something that Moreh Baruch speaks on, and I just want to show what I'm seeing. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Don Saint. Don Saint Moshe said he honored his word. So again, we're learning that our forefathers were men of honor, men of their word, right? Well, some of them. We do see some of them that did some other things, which at this current tense where we are, men of their word. He honored his word, but I'm gonna bring this point out now. So the word tells you about a mind well instructed, right? So when we're training up to have a nation, are our children trained? Does our daughter know what she's supposed to be when she go to a man's house? In our Shabbat service a couple of weeks back, I was teaching, well, I've been teaching on the identity of Elohim for a minute, but then I also focused on one of the weeks that I taught on it was the image of Elohim and identity, right? In today's time, a lot of times women feel like their identity is lost when they get with a man. So I covered that we all, our whole marriage is supposed to be in the identity of Yah. So the husband and the wife supposed to be a Kad, they're supposed to be a Kad with Yah. So the husband's supposed to submit to the Most High, the wife's supposed to submit to the husband. And while we're worrying about losing our identity, all of our identity should be actually consumed in being like the Most High, right? So saying all that to say this, are our daughters being trained up to know how to even consider and to know that when I leave my father's house and I go to be with my Ish, what do I bring to the table? Moreh Baruch will tell you about the women and the princess of the tribes. A daughter is a wealth, is a value to have. If she's trained well and properly, when she now goes to this house, she's supposed to be trying to build her Ish house up. And because her father had possessions for them to have a good start, she asked for a blessing. But who's that blessing going to go to? Her Ish. So when they think about identity, we can show it in the scriptures. She's asking for something for her Ish, for her husband. Because this is my head. This is my covering now. So I'm about to leave my Abba's house. Them wells and them springs that I used to could play in, eat, drink. I could have the free, fair the land. I can do whatever I want to because that's my Abba's. Once I now have an Ish, my Ish is responsible for me, and I want some of that good water. I want us to have some stability from the start. I want to bring something to help my Ish, help me, help us, as well as help my Abba. That's another reason why, was I came, Ephraim said, he also wanted a man of character. Because when you join to my house, or when you join to my daughter, I'm giving something away. Not only am I giving my daughter away, I'm giving her blessings. So at least his stuff still somewhat appears to be somewhat his stuff, because we're a community. You went and you did this work, you proved yourself worthy, you proved yourself honorable. My daughter's been trained up. Now look what you got when you got my daughter. Not just a pretty young thing. Somebody with her head on right. You see what she asked for? She asked for a piece of land for you, and not any piece of land full of water, flowing water. Our mindsets have to be renewed all the way around for us to build a sturdy nation. Because when a wife go to a house, it's not just to cook no food. She's to be a helpmeet. So I'm all for nation building also. I want to see us build, but I would like to see us build on a strong foundation, one block at a time. As we see according to the scriptures, and as a builder would tell you, you ain't gonna build a housing complex in one day. So a nation will not be restored in one day, but we have to start taking it one step at a time. So what are we gonna do? Yeah, they messed it up. Yeah, a lot of elders have messed it up. Yeah, a lot of Morim have messed it up. Yeah, a lot of sisters have messed it up. A lot of brothers have messed it up. But what are we going to do, Mr. McCall? If there's thousands of Hebrews disorderly, bragging about being Hebrews, so be it. They're our brothers, we still love them. But we should display an honor, a respect, a fear, a dedication to the Most High. We should show the application in the way we live our lives. And we should show that we're trying our best to walk in the fear of Elohim. With that, Mr. McCall, I'm going to yield at this point. Like I said, I was going to be all over the place because these thoughts have just been in my mind. And I know what a lot of us want to see come to pass, but we have to get our mindsets prepared for it and start pushing towards the mark. And Adon Kanuka said, we make these statements and we say figurative things, but it's time to produce it so we can start walking towards the mark. And I'm going to end it with this statement again. And I think I shared it with some of you before. About 15 years ago now, that's how bad it is. Over 15 years ago. And I'm sad to say, but we about to do better, most high willing. But over 15 years ago, Moreh Shael, I think Moreh Baruch might have been there that day. I'm not sure, but I know we used to have these Moreh meetings. At this one particular time, we was in one of our Moreh meetings, and we had, we went on and had a service or something too, and so there was some elders there, and it was Iman was present, and she was like, "Wow, y'all are some smart young brothers." You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got a bunch of knowledge. Y'all are smart. She's like, "But let me ask you a question. How y'all have all that knowledge and y'all ain't having nothing? Y'all ain't doing nothing with it. What are y'all gonna do with it? Like, y'all know that Bible front and back, you're quoting all these scriptures, and y'all be pulling stuff off the top of y'all head. It's amazing how y'all do that. Y'all are some wise young men when it comes to that word, but what are you doing with it? Y'all have all this knowledge in this room, but what are you producing?" And this is over 15 years ago. I don't want to be going another 15 years, and then I'm telling y'all 30 years from now, or another group of brothers that's on with us, 30 years ago, Iman said to me and Moreh Shael and the other Maureen, "Y'all some smart brothers, y'all wise, y'all some smart young men," and we still haven't done anything. So, Mr. McCall, the examples is laid before us, the foundation is there. Let us continue to be strong walls to support one for another, and let us correct each other, rebuke each other, as Zaken Everdeen said. One thing about it is that we're lacking in this walk also nowadays, is people don't like right ruling. They don't like the correction part. They don't like to be corrected. That's something we're gonna have if we're gonna actually be able to build anything set apart into the Most High, and for y'all the blessing to be in it. So that's my time, Mr. McCall. I give all honor and esteem to the Most High. I hope that I provoke some positive thought, and I hope that the Most High will bless us with some positive efforts together collectively as he leads us and continue to lead us. And as Jeremiah said last week, a lot of times we're looking for investments. Investments is not always monetary. It can be your time. It can be your dedication. It can be your heart. And like you said, us coming together on these calls is already a form of investment, because we're renewing our minds together and we're starting to build those relationships. And I'm excited about a lot of the brothers and sisters that we have amongst us now that we're laboring with. May the Most High lead and guide us all, my brothers. I yield to the other Maureen, if y'all have any words. Shepherd Yob, I see you on. If you got any words, Shepherd Yob, please share. But the floor is now open. Moreh Baruch, you have any words? Moreh Canuck, if y'all have any words, I'll open it to y'all first, and then we open the floor to all the Akim.
Wonderful lesson, my brother. Powerful when it's something that's simplistic, but it gets overlooked, and all the glory and all the, all that other stuff. It's like we so busy looking at the tree and the leaves and stuff, and we forget the very root of all of this. And some of us have families, and we are re-educating, just because we're being re-educated as adults now. We are, as I said, trying to give their foundational knowledge to fear Yah. And then some of you are actually building families anew. And really, just to give the brothers, and this is something that Samak is definitely been saying, is like, look, you brothers are actually, especially brothers on here that may be building families. It's like y'all should be ahead of us out the gate, because y'all are getting things that we may not have gotten when we were building our families initially. You know what I'm saying? Or we may have learned from men that they quite didn't know the keys. You know what I'm saying? So we're kind of learning as we go in certain things, and y'all are kind of getting it initially. I just appreciate this lesson in whole. I always look for things that I didn't catch or didn't pay attention to, because these are the things that help us all grow. Because when you find something, take hold of it that you didn't know or you didn't necessarily focus on or closely examine. I call them the minor majors. So I love that little piece about, Yaakov and the sons, and it says and their households. And I said this was the foundation of the nation, was their households. They wasn't looking at it like, oh, it's how many brothers on this line? It's it's only 16 brothers on this line. So, it's not a no, it was like they believed full-fledged with wholeheartedly that they were a nation before they were a nation you know so we can believe that we are a nation of people, of returning people, you know what I'm saying, before we actually return, like, no, 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 we are those ones. And if we take ourselves seriously, remember what happened when Dina was raped, or humbled, let me say humbled to say it properly, when she was humbled by Hamor. um they said that this thing should not be done in Israel. They were already speaking like they had a constitution, the whole 9 yards. That's how Lewi and Shimon, that's how the brothers was talking already. Why are we not talking like that? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, no, we have not taken hold of the possession, but we have to start talking like this should not be done. We have to wholeheartedly take ourselves seriously. And when you take yourself seriously, that's when you start really investing into, that's when the fear of Yah really start coming into place. When you say, no, 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 I am a seed of Yaakov. I am a child of Yah. Now you start really investing in things that matter, like your children. You see what I'm saying? You invest in Yah, which causes you also to invest and make sure your children are dedicated. That's like saying put them in school that's gonna teach them about Yah and fearing. These type things causes you to start happen. The law of cause and effect. So I thank y'all for this message, and I thank y'all for that nugget that I'm able to take and add to my collection for the rest of my life and say, see, we say it, but sometimes you're not paying attention that you actually see it in the scriptures. We always say, well, families build communities and communities build that, but it actually shows you right there in the scriptures. So told y'all for that, Moreh. May the Most High continue to bless you and keep you, and not just you, but all you brothers on this line. You know what I'm saying? May the Most High bless and keep you and continue to increase us, not just in knowledge, but in action too.
Hallelujah. May the Most High continue increasing you and your household as well, Adon. And Toda, for all the wisdom that you share on this call and how you've been keeping it going, Adon, in my absence. So hallelujah for all the lessons you've been presenting as well. Hallelujah. I seen another hand just a minute ago. I thought it was Moreh Canuck, y'all, or Shabbat Yo. Y'all have any words? All right, the floor is open if anyone has any comments. Yes, sir, Shashamar.
Again, well, yeah, told us, all praise to the Most High, that the words came out, the words you spoke and also the words that the other brothers spoke. I've been from this, and some of the things I was actually thinking about for the last couple of weeks, especially that precept that talk about, what is done, and we said Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, talk about there's nothing new under the sun. I was just thinking about that last week. And I was just thinking about, the idea of building something. And one thing I noticed, growing up, when I was in college, or whenever they would have like some type of event, on campus event, if they didn't have like a host or some type of DJ, a lot of the people, they would be confused, they would be puzzled, they would be unsure what to do next. And now I noticed also whenever they have like group projects, you got to do some type of presentation. Whoever would people, they would kind of elect a leader. The person wouldn't say, I'm going to be the leader most of the time. Normally it would be the person, that makes the first couple of steps. I'm going to do this, and they'll say, okay, I like that. And that person just becomes a leader. And also, when I have meetings at work, if there wasn't like a leader in that meeting, a lot of the people, they would just be puzzled. A lot of people would be afraid to speak. So something that I noticed that sometimes it just takes, someone to, constantly make those steps. And then the people, they trust that person. Oh, this person is building something. This person, has ideas, so that's what I was thinking about. Like I said, all praise to the Most High Yah for this study. I've been from it. Hallelujah. Are you?
Hallelujah, hallelujah, Adon. And like you said, just keep taking those steps and staying constant. And that's one thing Adon Jeremiah brought out last week about staying consistent. You know what I'm saying? Staying consistent also. So that's something that we have to try to do is stay consistent. Adon Jeremiah, the floor is yours.
Torah Rabbah, open arm once again, and Torah to you, Moreh, Samak, for your time, your knowledge, your insight, your wisdom that you shared this evening. Thank the Most High for even putting His hand upon your spirit. And I pray that He continue to bless your growth and your dedication to the nation. And Torah to Shashamar, your wisdom as well. You're right. Just taking that step, and just want to just reiterate your point. Just bringing it home about family once again, and I. Love the fact that you kind of went to that portion of the show team and we dealt with the bot of Caleb, and Othniel being the individual who was able to take the land, take over. And just for us having this men's call, just really want to reiterate how important it is for the patriarchs once again to take our rightful position in this world. It's our God-given position. It's something that's not just given to us because we're men. It's something that has to be earned. And to Shashamar's point, we have to take those steps, just take the initiative to lead in the right direction. And if we continue just to use the wisdom that you shared with us this evening, Moreh Samak, as far as having the fear of the Most High, as far as being able to understand how important it is to stay dedicated and to invest in the Most High. And these things will allow us, so 15 years down the line, you will see the establishments that we're able to build, because we're all building them. We're actually writing history right now. We're just a part of it. And, when you're a part of it and you're in the midst of the storm, you can't really see everything that's happening. So I pray that we'll continue to have that aerial vision, as Moreh Dawood said one time, and being able to see things from the outer and see the progression that we're making. We are making a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to do. So let's not get complacent and continue to grow with the Creator. So Torah again for the lesson. Torah for everybody, their input, their time, their energy, because this is all necessary. I yield. Have a beautiful night, Lalato.
Hallelujah. For your words of wisdom, Adon, and may the Most High continue to increase in your life, Adon. And I'm gonna tell you, I definitely get encouragement from Akim such as yourself and Moreh Canuck. Y'all try to walk with a certain not elegance, but a certain discipline and the effort that y'all put forth. And Moreh Canuck, I seen you and the boys on there too, doing the prayers. Like training them up, man. So that's just definitely a positive. So Toda, yeah, me out for the times you be on the dome and hosting the calls for us too, because I'm gleaning and taking in all that you pouring out into me as well. And that's one of the things that when we start getting older, ever learning, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to, just because I may be starting to get to my old head stage, I'm listening to the word of Yah through the men of Yah. And you said something that was powerful. Like, we need to be in our God-given and walk in our God-given role. And I want to bring out something that Shepherd Yob says, the women waiting on us. Like, if we would just do what we're supposed to do, they waiting on us, man. As Shepherd Yob would always say, they're waiting for the men, because there are a lot of women that just, if they could see the men actually walk in the role that the Most High has called us to walk in, righteously, disciplined, and consistent, and we're producing something, man, the nation can get in order if we can just get ourselves in order. So Toda Don Yermiyah, and that presentation last week, like I said, it's still gonna be something that I'm gonna be meditating on and listening to our work, because I have to listen to messages more than once. So Toda Aki. Sorry, Yohanan.
Shalom, Moreh. Shalom, Akeem. Man, I want to get all esteem praise to the Most High Yah, man, for this study, this coming together as a family, as Mystikai, as men of Elohim, as the brotherhood. thought I done for the lesson, man. For one, what stuck out real when you say nation building. How can you build a nation without a family? And that's the big thing for me even since I came into this walk. You know, we have our Ishas, our immediate families, our children, but it's told when you have the family, like my Moreh, Baruch, the family, you know, I came under the direction of Baruch, you know, it hit my mind when there's a song, that's my family, and Adon Baruch, he said, you know, before I got my name, Yohanan, I still had my government name, John, and he's like, Brother John is quiet, but he no spook. So what I was doing in that, while I was always quiet because I was observing. One, I was observing the Ruach and the spirit that was going in here. I was observing the familyhood, you know, and when I first met Baruch and his Isha, his Mispakah, you know, he felt the family. And then met you, Adon, with family, and then Canute and, you know, Shael. And when we used to come together as a Mispakah and do things together. And one thing hit me out with Moreh Canute when he used to do the feed the homeless, man. That was told, man. We came as a Mispakah going up to DC together as a family, feeding the homeless, and you know, we doing lessons and trying walking the Ruach the Most High. And I know every week y'all probably get the same message from me every week, but I'm just letting y'all know, man, it's just that I actually sincerely care about you all, and I've seen a lot of people pass away and people not knowing what's going on, people going through something, and people not paying attention. That we as men, we have to be better in reaching out to each other, because you don't never know what a brother gone through. Not to throw no name out here, but I'll just talk offline to y'all. Moreh, I had talked to one of the captains over there in VA that we have a brother, you know, found out he homeless. You know, that's our Ak, man, and he been staying in the hotels, and I talked to him on Shabbat, and he had the children in the hotel where he been homeless for some months now. And they trying to ends meet, we working, and he doing Uber when he off to try to make extra money to pay for this hotel and stuff like that. And it was in my Ruach, man. I reached out one of the brothers out there in VA, man, and told him, look at him, man. We need to get with that brother and try to see what we could do for this brother, because that's what we supposed to do as a brother and Mitzvah as a family, man. And we could have all the Torah, we could have all the scriptures and all that, but where the family into it. So one thing about me, I know Adon Baruch attest, when I was out there in VA, I used to throw barbecue cookouts at my house and invite the whole Mispakah assembly to the house. You know, some showed up, some not, because I seen the division inside the assembly, you know, and I wanted to break that division and bring us together as a Mispakah, as a family. Because that's how can we call ourselves a Mispakah on Shabbat on the feast day, but we can't get along and be a Mispakah outside Shabbat in the feast days? That's like a hypocrite to the Most High, yeah. You know, I like y'all blasting the Most High's name. Y'all coming here on the feast day, on Shabbat, and saying, yeah, we love Yah and we're Mispakah, and we not at the feast day, not Shabbat, not the assembly. It's a different story. So I took it upon myself and said, look, I'm gonna start doing cookouts, start inviting the whole assembly and try to bring us together and build and learn each other and become a Mispakah. And that's the key of building a nation. We need to start doing that. Y'all know we, through the 4 quarters of the earth, all over, some in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, but when we together, we in the same city or something like that, let's start throwing cookouts, invite them over and be a family. You know, you'll find out things that you never knew, that our people need us. They need someone to lean on. You know, you'll never know what somebody gone through, especially one that's ill, especially one that lost loved ones, man. And sometimes some Mispakah feel like they're alone in this walk. So like the Moreh said, man, we have to become a Mispakah. We had to become a family first before we become a nation. You could keep saying nation building, nation building, nation building, but how are you gonna nation building when one set of people. I don't agree with you because you believe in this, and I don't agree with you because you don't believe in that. That's not nation building. We can't build a family because you believe in this, so I don't want to be your family. You know, because you believe in the brick house shot, you believe in the New Testament. I don't want to be your family. I don't want to deal with you. But let's do nation building. You can't do nation building. That's not no nation building. You got to become a family. So this lesson told out y'all for the lesson. It's kind of hit hard for me. So I'm a yield from that. Shalom, shalom. Okay.
Shalom, shalom. Man. Well, sorry, we just want you to know we love you too, Adon. Like, you truly our family, Aki. You definitely truly our family. And as I said earlier, you're truly a big part of this family here, as to us all being together as a family, the way that we are. And he said something about the feeding, you know, and if there's ever anything that brothers have going on in their cities and states, and, you know, you just need more numbers and more hands on deck to help with it, you know, let's, if you put the notices out early enough, you know, I don't mind coming through to come out and help doing something in the streets with the homeless or whatever it is, speakings, whatever it is, you know, that's how we got to just start pulling up for each other and, you know, doing y'all's work together, you know. So, and I'm here to be a servant. I ain't there. Wherever you need me at, I'm there to serve. So I want to say one last thing real quick, and we don't have this all the way together yet, but so again, we know it's focusing on family, but brothers, we really got to get our children and really, you know, really spend time with them and raise them up, and definitely get with our sons also. Moreh Baruch spoke to me about something, and me and Moreh Canuck had spoke on some things a while ago. But you know, we want to try to do something, start doing something with the boys, you know. So if anyone has any time where they, you know, if we come up with a curriculum or something that we can do where, for one, a lot of our children, the only time they get to see each other is on feast days or some event that we're doing. And then other than that, they're at the schools with, you know, if they don't have a Hebrew congregation that has their own homeschool system, then, you know, they back out there with just people of the world. But the same when we come on, we can set up something for them to come on and have someone teaching them, training them, and giving them time to meet each other so our sons can meet each other and, you know, be encouraged. And, you know, like I said, I can't put all the details out because me and Moreh Baruch and Canuck gonna be speaking on some things, but, you know, if anyone is ever available that would, you know, as we're putting this thing together, that will want to do something with the boys, and we set up some type of curriculum for them to be online, and if somebody can fill in and, you know, give lessons or however we get it, but we've been talking about doing something for the boys, and then also having times when we come together and bringing them to the same location together, you know, and doing some trainings with them and things like that, and just, you know, letting them be amongst the men of the Most High, you know, and as we're learning, we're teaching them, but they also have some fun time and also get some skill sets and things like that. And that's nation building, because, you know, as we get older, we're gonna want them to transition. And as Moreh Baruch said about the newly families that's coming together, they should have a better head start than we had, and we want to give our Yaladim even better head start than any of us on this line. So y'all just keep that in mind, you know. And if y'all have any inputs, anything, please contact myself, Moreh Baruch, Moreh Canuck, if you have any ideas as far as things that we can do with the boys, as well as if you wouldn't mind participating if we needed someone to, you know, be in and host classes for them. Like I said, we don't have it put together yet, but I just wanted, I know we're going to talk about it at another time, me and Moreh Baruch, but I just want to go and put that in y'all ear that we want to do more for the boys right now and start training them up to encourage them in this walk. And, you know, so I'm going to yield at that point because it's all about family. And so let's build some strong families. All right.
Moreh.
Yes, sir.
You know, I like to just make one small recommendation. But
Yes,
firstly, let me give Shah Johanna my, you know, my deepest, you know, salam. That's a beautiful brother. Hey, thank you for your many texts, brother. You know, I look forward to getting them. You know, I might get them late, but bro, you know, it's you shine daylight, you know, sometime in the darkest hours of, you know, of our days with your texts, and you know, it just gives us hope, you know, and I'm grateful for you. But now the other thing I wanted to say is you know, we got these kids, these young men, we got power tools. It will be a good skills set to teach you, pick a power tool, a drill or, something to teach them the proper use of that drill, is to teach them life skills while they're young so they can perfect those life skills while they're young, you know, and, that will build their confidence. And, when they see you working, they'll know what you need when you ask for something. Teach them about the wrenches and the sockets, and, so they'll know what you're asking for. That is a good tool to teach a kid, is to be a man while they're growing up to be a man. So, all praises. Thank you, brother.
No,
Yeah.
and thank you, Zakim. Thank you. And that goes back to also heeding the instruction of a father, and what Moreh was talking about, about going back to respect and certain things. That's the wisdom that you shared. And I even have to work on that myself. Like, you just shared a lot of wisdom, Elder, because sometimes when we be doing certain work, we just be trying to get it done. You know what I'm saying? And instead of having my son there sometime, I'm just wanting to get it done and don't have time to explain things. But when I think about it, the majority, the reason why I'm a technician now and the skill set that I have and know how to do certain things that's even outside of my skill set that I've never done before, is from, like you say, from being around with my father and my uncles in the community. And when they was working, we was right there with them. Boy, hand me this, boy, hand me that, and then you see what they do with them. And, even though they might not have came and give you a direct class, you understood what this drill was used for. They might let you drill a few things in, and, like you say, they grow up with it. And then when they become, because I'm gonna tell you, it is sad. I do see a lot of young men today, they just can't do what a lot of us could do, And then when I see my elders such as yourself, Elder Herman, may the Most High bless his memory, a lot of you elders, man, y'all can outwork the average young man. Y'all will workaholics, but we need to be teaching that. So thank you for that idea, Zakim. That will be something that we need to make more than just Torah, but they actually need those life skill sets. So thank you, Zakim. We will be getting with you, because I know that's right down your alley, because I know the time you spend with Nathan when you out here at the house, and trying to get him doing the lawn and stuff with you. So Torah, Zakim. All right. Well, I didn't mean to keep you this late, because I know some of y'all probably got to be to work like I do in the morning. But good to see y'all brothers on tonight. Thank you for your fellowship and your time. And thank you all for still tuning in, even on the nights when I can't make it. But I love you all, brothers. And if I can get someone to do a closing tefillah, I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. Okay, Shashma, appreciate you, Aki.
Okay, but yeah. All hearts and minds clear. I went to Total Bar for this night. Total Bar for allowing us to gather on this call. Total Bar, I'll be out for opening our minds. Ask that you may bless us with wisdom. Bless us with understanding, Abiyah. Teach us how to navigate through this world. I'll be asking you to forgive us for our many sins, our transgressions, and our iniquity. And also forgive those of our ancestors, Abiyah, as you may forgive us, Abiyah. Forgive me. We know that your mercy endures forever. I'll be asking you to forgive us for the times that we have not done exactly what you have told us to do. Forgive us for not acting as quickly as you wanted us to act. We know that you are a merciful Elohim, powerful Elohim. We know that your mercy endures forever. I'll be asking you to bless us with the strength and the drive to do the things that you have commanded us to do. Bless us with the zeal, Abiyah, to work at our salvation with fear and trembling. Abiyah, give us the strength to produce works, increase our imunah, our faith. When the scripture says that faith without works is dead. So I'll be asking you to give us the strength to show our works. I'll be asking you to bless the Akim, the brothers on this call, give them the strength to strive for righteousness, to strive for perfection. Give them the strength to lead their households, protect their children, their Isha, their wives. Give them the strength, Abiyah, to not only handle the business within their own household, but also handle the business outside of the household. Abiyah, I also ask that you strengthen the single brothers strengthen them, Abiyah, give them the strength to build themselves up, get their household in order, prepare their mind to be a leader, Abiyah, to be leaders. And if it be your will, prepare them to be husbands, Abiyah. And Abiyah, I ask that you can bless the work of our hands, and I ask that you may keep us in the righteous state. And Abiyah, I ask also that you can watch over us as we go to sleep and prepare our bodies and our minds for work, school, for any responsibilities that we have in this life. And Abiyah, I ask that you may strengthen us, have mercy upon us for our errors, our mistakes. And I ask you to remember that we are seeking the paths of old. We are seeking information that was once hidden from us, or information that was once blind. So I ask Abiyah that you may have mercy upon us and give us the opportunity to continue in this life. And I ask that you may bless us and keep us, and teach us how to love you with the whole heart and nothing less. By Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Amen, Amen. Salam.
Shalom alaikum, Akim.
Amen.
Love you all. Amen, amen.
Hallelujah.